Hello and welcome back to Brick World International, my English YouTube channel about my Lego City project called Brick World. And today there's going to be a big update because we are working at the roof of that big train station building. We are starting with a big part of that building, and that's going to be a very insane project in today's update. So stay tuned. For that project for today, I had to order a lot of bricks and plates and other stuff. You can see it right now here. There are almost 2,000 parts for today's update to make that roof building possible. I created that first in digital draft because some parts of the city I'm doing a digital draft before building it in real life, because I need a lot of parts and some parts I do not have normally in my stock, and because there are so many parts in today's update, I had to make a digital draft before to order all I need to can really be sure to have all the parts I need. You can see right now the speed build of the outer part of the roof. That means I'm building a part on that will be put on the existing building, where I can then lay in the roof itself. So you can see it right now. I'm adding a lot of parts in that little part, and that's really not only, oh my god, it's really only a little part. You can see it right now. I added it here on the roof or at the walls of the building. And you can see these little parts sticking out of the walls. That's where the actual roof is later be placed. And when we are going a little bit back, you can see that's the final and finished height of the building, exclusively the roof itself. But I think it looks right nice when you look at it from here down from the minifigure perspective. And that's not everything we are going to do today. That's just a little part. So I'm doing now a mirroring of that part you saw right now, or you saw in the last speed build, for the other side where the tracks are laying. And then we have to make a bigger part connecting these two parts at the building. And then we can start building the roof itself. But as you can see right now, a lot of bricks are already in that little part that's surrounding the building, so we can lay in the actual roof. And it took me hours to plan, to buy all the stuff, and actually to build it. And I think it's the biggest update counted by hours of work since the beginning of my Lego City project. And it was I did that on the German channel in the middle of March, because in the middle of March there's my birthday, and I'm doing every year a special part in the city for my birthday. And that year it was starting with the roof, and now you can see in that speed build the connecting part between these two mirrored parts I already did. And that's the even bigger part, as you can see. And it's about I think it's about 48 studs on the left and back side, and the connecting part is about 90 studs long. So you can imagine how big that part is going to be later when it's added to the city itself, and even how big the part will be that has to span over the building, the roof part. And it's a quite repeating building right now, but I think it looks very nice later on the building itself. And we can see it in speed build, and I'm already finished with all that little slopes adding here, and now these little pyramid parts on the top, and then we are ready with that part. And here it is, the finished part as it is right now. And you can see how big that part is. And you have to have in mind that that is only about 20% of the actual roof part of the whole building. So it's a very big building. It's not so, you can't see it right very good if you only see it in the video. In real life, it's much more big, and you can really see how big it is. Now in the speed build you can see that structure I'm building right now out of a lot of Technic bricks and Technic connectors. That's the underlaying structure for the roof itself that's going to be placed inside those little outstanding parts I did in the wall. And now I'm making 3 of these very, very big parts, about 90 studs long. And now I'm adding these very, very long Technic parts into it, and adding some more Technic bricks on it. So I'm getting it's like a chessboard structure, and makes it very, very stable. So we can lay all the plates we have to be placed on the roof, because the roof is a very, very big roof, as I already said. But I think that's the biggest roof did in any Lego project. And now you can see how that plan is going. You can see that that structure with that very, very big Technic structure is laying in these little parts that are going to be placed later on the roof, under the roof. And now we are adding the plates. I'm using a lot of these 16 by 16 plates to make it more stable, because bigger plates are more expensive, but it makes it much more stable if you use big parts and not very little parts. Sometimes you have to use smaller parts, but if I can use bigger parts, I'm using them to make it more stable, especially when you have some big project like that. The plates are placed, and now we are adding a glass window structure here. And later, when the roof is placed on the building, that is going to be that hole here with all the glass that's coming later, is be placed over the atrium, so you can look from the top building through that windows that I am adding right now down to all the shops and other stuff in the building. I'm using a lot of big windows here and place them on those hinges, because later I'm adding some smaller windows, and then I'm adding some little slopes, that 45-degree slopes. And when I'm clap the big structures together, they are perfectly in the perfect shape, so that closing perfectly. It's really, really nice when you see it later, and it makes it look very nice, I think. And yeah, I'm here in the front. I'm building a little structure with white bigger slopes, just to make it possible to close the window as you see it right now. Now I'm adding these little dark bluish gray plates with that railing on the side, that makes it possible to close that little gap that is there because of the degree, the angle. And now you can see that you can't see the little hinges anymore, because the railing is laying over it, and the structure is perfectly fitted. So those little 45-degree slopes at the top of the glass structure are connecting perfectly in shape. So that's the finished roof. There are a lot of empty space that is going to be placed later, or there's going to be some stuff in later updates. But in today's update, we already did a lot of stuff. We are going to build something else later. But that's it for today. The biggest part is right now done. I'm added already the underlaying structure on the walls. You can see it right here. And yeah, but let's go on in the next part. I have added the roof on it, so you can see it. It's perfectly placed, but I have a problem. I did a big mistake by planning it in the digital draft, because the glass structure is about 6 studs to the left moved. It has to be 6 studs more to the right. That's a problem, because I cannot change it right now. I have to do it in a future update, because I do not have the parts I need to replace or move that glass structure to the right location. You can see it's a little bit off. If you look down here, it's not where it has to be. It has to be 6 studs more to the right. But I think you can see what I have in mind and what I have created here in that update. I already went to Bricklink to buy the missing parts. I need some of these plates 2 by 16. Right now you can see it here, 12 parts I need. They are not here for that video. They are going to be here in a future update. But I also placed or created that lion statue. It's not my own design. It's a design from Rebrickable. I bought all the parts here in sand green. I think it's a very good statue to put it on the roof, because the lion is like a mascot for the city. The lion is everywhere in the city. You can see it everywhere, and I think a statue placed on the roof here would be perfect. But before we can do that, I'm adding a little bit of stuff here inside the building. I'm adding a wall here. That's the wall that's the outer wall of that floor, but it's also important to have it there to make the roof more stable, because the roof is also laying on that wall later, and another wall that's not being built today but in a future update. But that wall we can build right now today, so I'm going to build it now. It's a very easy build, not very complicated, just some windows, some bricks and some plates on top of it. And it's not very special, because that's the upper floor. And the upper floor, there's only there are no shops anymore. That's not for the public. There are some offices later and some stuff like that. And now you can see the roof is back. It's finished right now. You can see the lion standing there. I think it looks quite nice. I'm not sure if the lion statue is going to be there forever, or if I'm placing it somewhere else. But if you go a little bit away from the building and you see that big building with about 2 meters wide, and go down to the view here from the minifigures, you can see it right now, and I think it looks fantastic. So write me in the comments, what do you think about the first part here? I also added a new minifigure. Here's Captain America. He's the minifigure 555, so it's a funny number for that special update today. And I think I'm very satisfied. You can see it here. It's not on the right place. We're going to change that in a future update, but it's a big project, and I'm very satisfied to have it done in today's update. And just look at from the other side, it's also looking quite nice. And as I said, I'm going to add some more stuff on the roof. Later we are going to build, not today but in a future update, we're going to build a big dome in the middle of the building, and on the other side we also have to build that flat roof. But yeah, that's the first part. About 20% is done, as you can see here, and I think it makes a big difference having that part on the roof. In a future update, we are going back to the area in front of the train station to build more on that marketplace. But that's it for today. Write me in the comments, what do you think about today's update? And yeah, thanks for watching, and bye!